Hello, Center Hill. How about some more daily bread? Well, all of us are in the process of living disrupted lives. Our normal way of going about doing things and just carrying on day-to-day life has just been radically changed. And it's in that circumstance that I think it's important for us to recognize that we all have a choice to make. We can't change what's happening, but we do have an opportunity to take control in the sense of how we respond to that. What choice are we going to make? And I believe we have one of two choices we can make. Now, there is one choice that in many ways seems to us to be normal. It's an easy one to fall into, and many times people do it even without realizing they've made the choice to do so. Now, what I'm talking about is just being upset by it all. And it is upsetting. I mean, it has upset our lives and our routines, but we don't have to become upset about it. That is, we don't have to just dwell on the fact, man, I wish it weren't this way, that it's so unfortunate that this has happened, and look at the things that I'm missing out on, and what could have been, and what was supposed to be, and all of those kinds of things. And we can really find ourselves in kind of a dark place, thinking extremely negatively about the whole circumstance. That's not to deny the fact that those things aren't there and there are not negatives that are involved with this, but that's not what I'm talking about. This is the reality that we're faced with. You see, we have another choice that we could make. We could choose to respond differently. We could choose to respond by saying, I'm going to take what I have and what I'm faced with from where I am and do my very best with it. And you see, that's a very different way of approaching this. This is recognizing that there are some things that are not changed. I am still a child of God. I am still a follower of Jesus Christ. And it doesn't matter what kind of circumstance I might find myself in at whatever time of life it might be. There are some things that need to be true of me. And so I think we have a responsibility, not only an opportunity, but a responsibility to make a choice of how we respond to this. I want you to think with me for just a moment about a well-known Old Testament character who also found himself living a disrupted life. Now, we've been saying, and it continues to be said, and to some extent it is true, that these are unprecedented circumstances. Now, they're unprecedented in the sense of the very particulars, facts about what we're dealing with this pandemic and all of that kind of stuff. But there are some things that are not unprecedented. It is not unprecedented that the people of God in times past have had to face disruption in their lives. I'm thinking right now about Daniel. Daniel was a young man who was taken captive by the Babylonians with many others of his peers, and at that time taken from Jerusalem, their homeland, taken from their families, and hauled off into Babylonian captivity. Now, the reason that Daniel and others were taken at that time is because they were exceptional people. They were the very best. This was the first of three groups of people who were taken off. The third one, was when Jerusalem was destroyed, the temple was burned and all that. But this is the first one. And these were taken off because they were so exceptional individuals, such exceptional individuals. And so here's Daniel. He had a choice to make. He could be upset about that. He could say, woe is me, look at how unfortunate I am, how mistreated I have been. And he could have gone down that route to a dark place. But obviously, he did not choose that route. He continued to remain faithful to God. He continued to do the best that he could with what he had in the circumstances that he found himself. And the very reason that you and I are able to remember and know about Daniel today is because he made that choice. Things never changed for him in the sense that he never did get to go back home. He continued into old age in what could have been described as a disrupted life, but that became his new normal. And he served God and he was faithful to God. And so You and I have a choice to make in our circumstances right now. It's a choice. Some things we can't change, but what we can change and we can take control of is how we're going to respond to this. I would encourage us to remember Daniel and realize the fact that we can remember Daniel because of the choice that he did make. Let's make a good choice.